might have. Concerns raised during public comments will not be responded to or discussed during the meeting. Those items brought to the attention of the board during this time may be taken under consideration for future response or action. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and a total time for this portion of agenda will be limited to 15 minutes. So what I'll do is I'm going to read your name off of the list of people who have signed up. I'll ask you to come to the microphone, which is up here right by the tables where the red tablecloth is. I'll ask you to please state your name and address for the record, and then I'll start my timer and you can speak. And if you go a little bit over the timer, I'll try to quiet it. So please don't get, feel comfortable at the microphone. We want you to feel comfortable in speaking your comments. So if we're ready?
We are. They may need to turn the microphone on. Is it on? Okay.
So the first person I have listed to speak is Sarah Hamlin, please.
A little shorter than that. Hi, I'm Sarah Hamlin. I live at 159 West Gibson Street in Canandaigua.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I was saddened to hear that there are people in our community who are not willing to be supportive of all our children. I've been so impressed with how the school district has embraced a segment of our students who have been marginalized for too long. The gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, intersexual, and queer or questioning kids. I understand change can be scary, and it's tempting to want to deny or push away what we fear. The best way, though, is to face what is real and seek to understand it. Then we can better move forward. And in the case of our community's children, all our children, this is imperative. In this current climate of divisiveness, fear, and violence, it is as important as ever to support our kids. They don't need to be mired down by adults' fear and hatred, but lifted up by our respect and love. And if kids don't have a loving, supportive home life, thank God they have our schools to go to. I created a petition to show support for what you all are doing every day to support the LGBTQ plus students here. And clearly, I'm not the only one who agrees with your good work and want it to keep improving. Over 1,200 people have signed our petition supporting our schools and our LGBTQ students, including parents and grandparents, current students and CA alumni, physicians and nurses, teachers and librarians, church leaders and tradespeople, counselors, and business people. I emailed you on the board the petition site and strongly urge you to read the many powerful comments written by some who signed. Here's a printout of all the signatures, and I'd like to now read the petition into the record. We, the undersigned, strongly and fully support the Canandaigua City School District's LGBTQ plus programs, materials, and curriculum. We believe in our school system's commitment to the whole child education, and that silencing LGBTQ plus students and their allies is in direct conflict with this fundamental commitment. We believe each child should feel safe and welcomed. LGBTQ plus students deserve our respect, and they deserve to see their experiences and identities validated and represented in school. Each student must feel supported by the adults charged with their education. We wish to thank the Canandaigua School Board, Superintendent Farr, and the devoted teachers and staff for all they do for our community's LGBTQ plus children. On the flip side of this, I do recognize that not all children are growing up in homes where tolerance is taught and modeled, and they themselves may well go to school and feel seen, unseen, and left out. I'm sure the dedicated professionals of the school district are aware of this, and I want to reinforce support of those kids as well, who could be at risk for slipping through the cracks or worse, while others are now finally able to blossom and stand tall in who they are. All our children deserve support as they work to achieve self-acceptance and self-respect, essential elements leading to compassionate and productive adults. We support you in your hard work and respectfully request that you keep looking for more ways to support the physical and emotional health of our youth while educating their minds. Thank you.
That was perfect. I have Amanda Angel next, please.
I have copies of what I'm about to say if anybody on the board would like one.
Amanda, would you just state your name and your address for
Sure.
the record, and then I'll
Amanda-
start the timer. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
Amanda Angel, 1884 Saddlehorn Drive.
Thank you. Deb will
Okay.
take a copy later for the record, but you can just
Okay.
read it now. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'm representing a group of parents that are concerned with some of the topics being taught, discussed, and promoted in Canandaigua District schools. Our group has been characterized as those who don't support that all students should feel safe and welcomed in their school as well as respected. And some comments have represented us as homophobic, but this couldn't be further from the truth. We have peaceably brought our concerns through the appropriate channels in a kind and respectful manner. We understand that not all residents and parents may agree with our stance, which is the point. If such controversial topics cannot be agreed upon, that further provides support for the schools to remain neutral. Because who gets to decide which truth or moral standard is superior? We presented a petition on Friday, November 12th to Superintendent Farr, and we feel that our petition is being misrepresented. As a result, I'll be reading the petition so as to go on record with our intent. The petition reads in its entirety. We, the undersigned parents, voters, taxpayers, and residents of the Canandaigua City School District, believe that each child in this school district is equal in dignity and great value, and therefore should be treated with respect and kindness. We love and care for all the students of this district and want to protect them from psychological, emotional, and spiritual confusion or possible harm. We support conscientious efforts to prevent bullying of any kind. Because of our love and care for every individual student, we, the undersigned, hereby call upon the Board of Education to stop and prevent the glorification of controversial sexual identity topics, beliefs, and lifestyles in the Canandaigua schools. This includes the controversial topics of gender identity, homosexuality, and transgenderism. We believe the exaltation of these sexual identity topics cause premature sexualization of school children, which likely causes confusion and psychological harm. We believe parents have the right to teach their own children about the aforementioned topics privately at home without administrators and teachers imposing their individually, personally held moral, political, or religious views on students. Furthermore, we stand against the assertion that it is the public school's responsibility to teach students its opinions and beliefs about sexual identity beliefs and lifestyles, as personal opinions and beliefs are not curricular. Sexuality is a private matter, and only parents have the right to decide when and how their children learn about it. We want all students to be provided with appropriately rigorous and relevant education curriculum. If topics of sexuality are broached within school hours, we want complete transparency provided to the parents of those children with the authority to opt their child out. Thank you again for your time.
See, next I have Heather, would you state your name and address for the record, and then I'll start?
Sure. Heather Holman, 418 East Street.
Thank you.
So I'm here this evening as current president of the Canandaigua PTSI, and I would like to voice our support for the LGBTQ+ students and their families, as well as the district's current diversity, equity, and inclusion plan and practices. I'm going to share a portion of a 2017 statement from the New York State PTI that they shared in a position paper affirming LGBTQ youth and families. New York State PTI and Canandaigua PTSI are committed to increasing diversity, ensuring a safe, inclusive school and community environment that provides access to age-appropriate, educationally sound resources and curricula that affirms LGBTQ identities and supports the social, emotional, and academic needs of LGBTQ children, youth, and families. All children and youth should be able to attend school and live in communities that are safe and inclusive, free from bullying, discrimination, harassment, and intimidation. Unfortunately, the lack of awareness and understanding of issues facing LGBTQ children, youth, and families has contributed to a higher rate of bullying, isolation, depression, and suicidal thoughts or attempts at a rate 4 times higher than their non-LGBTQ peers. Exclusion and lack of support create environments that are not affirming or safe and can have negative impacts on LGBTQ youth, including lower grade point averages, decreased school attendance, increased dropout rates, increased victimization, increased rates of drug, alcohol, and tobacco use and abuse, poor self-esteem that can impede social emotional development, and deterrence from higher education or career goals. Age-appropriate and educationally sound curricula and current and relevant resources regarding LGBTQ issues increases understanding and cultivates acceptance of and respect for LGBTQ children, youth, and families. When coupled with anti-harassment and anti-bullying policies that specifically protect sexual orientation and/or gender identity and gender expression, students experience lower levels of bullying, decreased incidents of harassment, increased teacher-staff intervention, and a greater reporting of incidents. Every child is entitled to a healthy, safe, supportive, and inclusive educational setting. Unfortunately, LGBTQ students can experience hostile, non-inclusive, or unsupportive school environments. New York State PTA and Canandaigua PTSA have a strong commitment to increasing diversity and inclusion in the educational system and our communities, so all children and youth are appropriately supported. We must work together as an educational community to support our LGBTQ students to ensure they are well prepared for the many challenges that lie ahead. Thank you.
The next person I have signed up is Kira McCarthy. Kira, will you state your name and address for the record, please, and then start? Thank you.
Kira McCarthy, 391 Gibson Street. Good evening. My name is Kira McCarthy. I have lived in Canandaigua for most of my life. I'm a practicing Christian, and like many of you, I know and love people who are part of the LGBTQ community. I would like to take you all back to when I was 13 years old at Canandaigua Middle School. My best friend at the time was discovering his own identity. It would not be until years later he would come out that he was gay. I loved to spend time with him. We would have pizza and Pokemon parties every Friday night, learn how to sing and participate in musicals together. His family was my family, and I was so lucky. However, as middle school progressed, he was getting bullied at school. Kids would call him crude and hurtful things, as well as make obscene gestures at him. I watched my best friend become withdrawn, and I did not know how to talk to him about it. When one of the bullies told me he was gay, I did not know what it meant or how to defend him. I did not know what any of this meant, and I was too scared to ask about what this seemingly bad term meant. I wish I had known back then, so I could have supported my best friend. I wish that I could have known the knowledge I do now back when I needed it most. Watching my best friend become depressed and struggle with his own identity broke my heart. To think about the nights he must have spent feeling so alone in the world, I feel like I have failed him. I did not understand or know anything about LGBTQ back then, but today we are lucky enough to understand. My fear is that if we erase all and any LGBTQ knowledge from the school system, that hate will rear its ugly head. Misunderstanding and misinformation turns into fear, which slowly becomes hatred. Parents who may not have a true understanding or even possibly have a loathing of the LGBTQ community will teach children to fear and distrust it as well. The cycle of hate will continue. It was not truly until the end of high school that my journey into understanding begun. Since then, I have learned how to support people who identify as LGBTQ and how to stand up to bigots who attempt to tear them down. I feel that I've become a better Christian now that I can spread the teachings of Jesus Christ by truly providing acceptance and love to everyone I meet. I know that if we give our children the knowledge and information about this community, they will rise up and stop bullying before it can escalate. I believe these children will grow up to also spread love and acceptance. And to the child who is gay and too afraid to talk about it or to ask for help, his friends will be able to support him and stand up for him. That child will learn to love himself, to understand himself, and live a thriving life free of fear or anxiety about his identity. Please keep LGBTQ education in schools. Thank you.
Not quite sure, based on the sheets I have here, if people are interested in speaking. So with the couple of minutes we have left, I'm just going to ask if other people who look like they may have some signed up or interested. Is Mallory Payne interested in making a comment at the podium at this time? Come on up, please. State your name and address for the record, please.
Mallory Payne, 130 Saltonstall Street.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm a part of the middle school GSA, and we had talked about the petitions that have been going around, and we were asked for somebody to come, and we made letters for why we think that we should continue to have LGBT representation. Somebody was asked to come and read one of them, and I had immediately said yes, so I have one of them. LGBTQ representation matters because because it makes students feel like they have a safe place to express and be themselves. Kids should feel appreciated no matter what their gender, pronouns, or sexuality is. Students find school to be a safe place, and we should continue to have that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list, Katya Medigeri. No, thank you. Okay. Is Sarah Leach interested in speaking at this time? I think so. Okay. And then I think Lauren and Kate. Lauren? Okay. And I don't think. Okay. All right. Thank you. We are at the end of our portion of public comments. Thank you to everybody for your comments, and thank you for also listening respectfully. Oh, sorry. Thank you for the hit there. Thank you for your comments, and also thank you for listening respectfully.